Amiibo!
What's up, GOT2GAMERS? We're here to talk about the Amiibo by Nintendo that was just released to coincide with the Super Smash Bros. Wii U release on the 21st of November in the United States, which was officially Nintendo Day by what Nintendo called it. And they're slated to come out on the 28th in Europe and I believe the 29th in Australia and New Zealand. Now, this is the first wave of 12 figures. And I do have them all, but I just have a couple of them open right now so I could show you in a few minutes later on what they look like in the box like you saw in the opening intro, but opening them up and just some details regarding the packaging. Now, these are all based off of the Super Smash Bros. Trophies that are in the game, and if you look at Mario, this is exactly how he looks in the game. He even has the Smash logo as his base, which you can kind of see here. Let's get the link so you can see him a little better. And yeah, see, there you go. This is the Smash logo. It's in gold and it's kind of like embossed, so it kind of stands out a little. Now, these are made out of, I believe, like some kind of PVC plastic. It's not bad. They're kind of light. And on the bottom, you see where the NFC chip is. He says you can't toss this out in the trash because it probably has something, dangerous, and chemicals and stuff. But let's show you what they look like in the box, up close. So here we have a couple of them, Samus and the Villager. And you'll notice right now that it says Samus' name, but in the background it's the portrait that you see when you're choosing the characters in the game. And you also see the name of the character in the back of them. It says Amiibo on the bottom, nice here in the logo, and in the back you'll see it says Supercharge your gameplay, collect, customize, and compete. And you can level up to 50. Basically, you bring these into your game, and you can train them to fight them, and you can actually fight against them, or have them join you to go team up against your friends and stuff. I'll show you how that works in a few minutes later on in the video, but I just want to go through a couple more of these in the box. Now, if I bring over here Marth, same thing, got this portrait in the back, says his name up here, Marth, and it looks the same as all the other ones. But I do want to show you something really funny on the Villagers one. He's the only one that has a different language here. It says Villager, Habitant, and Aldeano. I just think it's funny that it says Habitant, because really he has no name, just like the Wii Fit Trainer. This is the Villager. Anyways, I think that's funny. But let's open one of these up. So we can see what I want to show you something specific. So let's get Samus out of the package. Tear off the blister pack, pull down the plastic, and it just, they're seated in this little hot seat right here of plastic that you just yank out. And there you have it. Samus looks great. She's very detailed. It's like a metallic painting all around. The paint applications are really good. There's nothing messy about it. They look really good. They're not as good as the prototypes, of course, but these are mass-produced to withstand a bunch of molds and pieces that they're making. I don't know, I'm rambling. But at the bottom of this, I think some of you guys will notice that it has this little aluminum slip plastic on, or not plastic, just a little sticker on here. And I think you guys might know what that is. Basically, Nintendo is blocking it from being scanned in the package. And I'll show you what that's like right now. If we just start up the game, we'll take you to let me zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see what I'm talking about in the menus for Smash Brothers. We're going to go over to Games and More, and then to the left at the bottom it says Amiibo. We'll click on that. Now this is the part where you actually scan in your characters, and for some reason you can't scan them through the packaging. So if you're a collector and you don't want to open these up, you're pretty much out of luck. You're going to have to buy a double or something because it's not scanning through the packaging because of that little aluminum strip. Now, figures like Disney Infinity figures, you can scan them right through the packaging, which is really cool, But this, it won't let you no matter how hard you try. I couldn't get it to scan. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to either. But, as you can see, it just ain't happening. But if I just get any regular figure, let's go with Kirby. I could train Kirby right now. He just slid off. Hold him here for a few seconds, and it's immediately recognized. It says, set Arcadio as the owner of this Amiibo. I can't. Yeah, it's not a touch screen. Hit OK. And you could also select the portrait color for your figure. I'm going to go with the black one because it reminds you of the Heartless. And you have to give it a name. I'm just going to call it Kirby, or Kerbo actually, after my dog. My dog is named after Kirby. Not this Kirby, but just Jack Kirby. But anyways, then it loads up. Bam. He's in the game. This is my Amiibo, and it says you improve your Amiibo figure's stats by feeding it equipment, which is kind of funny, feeding it equipment, and customizing with special moves. I don't think I've collected any special moves yet in the game from playing it, but I'll be able to set him up. And he's ready to go. He's level 1, and I just have to hit OK to get him ready to go, and, you know, hit OK right here. Now basically I'm supposed to scan it again so I could save that information to Kirby. But since I'm not sure if I'm going to do that with him right now, I'm not going to rescan him. So, let's get back to the action at hand. So if you've been following me on Instagram, which is GOT2GAME, you might have heard when I wrote about the prototypes versus the finished product. And basically what I was trying to talk about was that obviously the prototypes are always going to look awesome. They looked great in the beginning, and the finished product isn't that bad. But what really got to me was the addition of these bases and stability stands, I guess you would call them, that they added to a couple of specific figures in the first wave, and they look very awkward, and they're not very consistent, and they stand out. Now I'm going to show you a couple of them right now, and you're going to see. I'm going to grab let's see, DK right here, and you'll notice that obviously because he's in a mid-air pose, there's no way of keeping him up. So they added this clear, somewhat rounded base in the back. Now you really can't see it from the front, but in the back it's obvious that he's sitting on it. But it's not very, it doesn't catch your eye because it's pretty much clear. It's not entirely clear, but it's white, but you don't notice it. And that's not that bad. Now whereas Kirby, he's just basically sitting. That's his trophy. There's no reason to have anything else attached to him to keep him on the base. So he pretty much stays right there. But if we say we take the Wii Fit trainer, it looks incredibly odd. She has like this weird, it looks like a cast. You know, it's like wrapped around her foot just so she doesn't fall off. And it looks like something that you would want to remove. Now this is clear, obviously, compared to the DK one. The DK one wasn't clear, but this is clear. And you want to take it off because it looks like a packaging piece that is just there to keep it in place. And it's really odd. And apparently the Wii Fit trainer is kind of hard to find right now. But if you look at also the villager, the same thing. It's got this little piece in the back foot and on the front foot, like if it's on something. It looks like he's covered in goo or something. I keep saying something, but because that's the only way I can describe it. It just looks very, very odd. And with Fox, his bases and stands are blue, dark blue. Now I would have been okay with it if it was clear, but it does not make any sense. The shape of them. The color of it, why is it blue? Now it looks like he's actually being like leaning against something rather than in mid-jump. And it looks bad. Why is that blue? The worst one I would say is Link, because he has this rectangular yellow plastic thing right here that's not even entirely solid. And it's like, why is it yellow in the first place? It doesn't make sense. And it's not even solid. Like I said, you can see right through here, it's kind of hollow right there. And on the side, it's not even rounded off. There's a hole right here where it inserts into his leg, and because it's clear, you can see that. So that's very jarring, and I don't like it. I think it's kind of bad. It's just not very consistent. They never stuck with one particular way of doing these bases, and this looks bad, in particular to me. Link could have been cool, but the paint application, the quality of the characters look really good. The plastic's not bad. You can see here there's no paint mess-ups. His face and his eyes look kind of weird, but I mean, it's very small, so they did a pretty decent job. Now, going back to the villager, you'll see that his paint application looks really good. His face looks fantastic. The number 1 on his shirt looks great. And this is my favorite figure out of all of them, even if it has like those ugly bases things on the bottom. I'll be using him a lot. Going back to Samus, again, she has a really nice pose. She doesn't need any bases, but the paint application is great. There's nothing wrong with her. The plastic is, you know, like I said, pretty solid. You're not going to really break them. But I just don't think they're as solid as other figures that have been out. So if you like kind of see it squeeze it, it's like it's got some flex to it, but you're not going to be able to move it around. Peach, who everyone thought was like probably the least quality one, actually came out pretty good. She has some really nice floral accents right here. Even the molding around the lace trim of her dress came out really well. And you see more of the accents. Oh, you can see the crown right here too if I just kind of focus on it. The crown isn't that bad. It looks a little bit messed up there, but it's not bad. and more floral accents in the back of the dress. Overall, she's a really nice figure. She's very light because she's mostly like, you know, just a dress. Going back to DK, you can see the fur is really nicely sculpted. You can see his tie has a nice DK logo on there. He's actually really good. He's really hefty, you know. He's probably the heaviest of all of them. He looks better than the World of Nintendo figures, actually. Not only looks, but feels. Pikachu, just standard Pikachu, like any other Pokemon, very simple mold, or sculpt, I should say. Looks very cool. The paint application is really good. He's one of the better looking ones, actually, I'd say. I mean, they're all looking great. Yoshi again. This is a funny one because Yoshi is in mid-walk pose, and his feet aren't completely touching the ground, but he has no stability, you know, braces around him compared to, like, say, the villager, who does have one foot solidly on the ground and standing upright. So it's like, who came up with this decision of what should be, you know, what should have those bases and what shouldn't? That just didn't make any sense to me. And this is why I think it's just completely inconsistent with the rest of the figures that they've done. So let's get Marth over here, the last one to show you guys. He's got some weird eyes. That's like googly eyes. He's not bad, but the eyes just look kind of weird. He's also got some really nice detailing in his shoulder pads, if you can see right here. He's also really well painted for the most part. He's got a really cool decal in the back for his cape. Looks really nice. Nothing's messed up. He's a really good figure. I mean, I can't wait to see Ike when he comes out, and same thing for Robin and Lucina. I can't wait for those. It looks really good. The build of this is really nice. They kind of have this feeling of like they come from, like, you know, the Gashapon figures, the ones that come in those little eggshells. That's the kind of feeling I get from them. The plastic could be better. I mean, Yoshi and Kirby all feel really solid, but I want to show you what they are, how they compare to Disney Infinity figures, which I think are a much higher quality and better than the Amiibos so far. So let me move these to the side and bring out a couple of examples to show you. Now, if we grab Donald right here, he's just a regular standing upright character, and because of his big wide feet, he doesn't need any stability, you know, to hold him up, and it's just a very flat surface. The bases are a little wider, but they're still pretty much the same, so he doesn't need any braces to help him up. And a lot of these, you'll see that they have their own universal style, so they don't have to worry about trying to look differently, even though they still retain their own identities. Like, these guys have these bases. Like, Jack is very thin and long, right? But he still doesn't have any bases, or I mean, any stability braces on him just to keep him up. And he's very thin, and these are for kids, right? So you'd think that Disney would put those on there, but they're just reassured with their characters. Baymax, for example, is a really top-heavy character, but because of his legs and the way he's positioned, he's not going to break off. He doesn't need any bases to hold him up. And he's made with really good quality plastic. They're all made really well. Yeah, I should say. And the plastic's really good. The bases and everything are just really well thought out. My favorite one so far is this one of Stitch. Now, he's still in the same universal style that Infinity has created for their game, and he's got this dynamic pose where he's kind of like, you know, crashing through the sandcastle. But the paint application, the build quality, the sculpt is all fantastic. And because it is a dynamic pose where he's moving up, they sculpted the base to actually move up against him, so they don't have to have any issues like this, like where you have to put a brace on Starfuck's his legs. So I think Nintendo could really learn from Disney and how they create their figures, and just because they can be so much better, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And each base here is differently because they coincide with what their characters have to do, right? So this is a sandcastle, like in Hawaii. You have the other ones like a techno base, grass for Donald, and the weird, crazy Tim Burton style for Jax. So overall, I think these are great quality figures, but I think they could be much better and match those of Disney. So I hope you all enjoyed this quite lengthy review on Nintendo's Amiibo, the initial 12 figures of Wave 1. You'll be seeing 6 more figures come out in December, which is going to be Luigi, Zelda, Captain Falcon, Diddy Kong, Pit, and Little Mac. And you'll also see that they also have already images of them, and they also have like these really weird bases on them, which are going to be a little bit awkward, I say. Those are also going to carry over to up until February, which is the next 11 figures. And those next 11 will be King Dedede, Bowser, Mega Man, Sonic, Shulk, Lucario, Rosalina, Luma, Meta Knight, Ike, Sheik, and Toon Link. So stay tuned for December's release, and also check out our videos for the Smash Brothers bundle and as well as the new Nintendo 3DS XL. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed.